Welcome to the Law of Attraction Tribe podcast. I'm your host, Stephanie Key. If you're looking to manifest a life you don't need a vacation from, then you came to the right place. I quit my 9-to-5 job to stay home with my kids while building a thriving business. Now, as a best-selling author, app creator, and 3-times podcaster, I am here to teach you how to do the same. If you want to join my inner tribe, head over to the Manifest It Now app. And now let's dive in to the podcast where I'm going to give you my best manifestation hacks and tips so that you can manifest a life full of abundance, freedom, and fulfillment. Hello, and welcome to the Law of Attraction Tribe podcast. Today, I figured we would go ahead and do a good old Q&A episode because I've had a few questions come in, people requesting certain podcast topics, and I figured we could just cover some of that in today's episode. Now, I posted something on Instagram the other day. It was a little reel where I was just joking around talking about how it's so hard to find other mom friends that are into like manifestation and moon rituals and building businesses and manifesting wealth and like all the stuff that I'm into. And I got so many messages from you guys saying, you're into all that stuff too. And it's like, how do we find each other? And I actually put together a 2-day boot camp in September. It's September 7th and 8th, where us moms can all get together and network, get to know one another. We're going to do some EFT tapping and spiritual guidance. Stacy Failing will lead us through a 12-week goal setting workshop, which I'm really looking forward to because that'll get us through the rest of the year. And I feel like after the summer, you kind of need that reset, just to get back on track with things, get back into a routine, look at where you're at, with your goals and where you want to be by the end of the year. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I will link it in the show notes if you guys are interested and want to hang out with me and some other moms that are all into the same stuff. So I'll link that up for you guys, and I hope to see you there. All right. So this question comes from Casey, and she says, I'd love a podcast episode about how to limit the valleys you have to crawl out of. I feel like right around my period is when I hit a valley, marriage issues, kids aren't listening, I'm eating all the things I know I shouldn't, skipping meditations, and how would I get on track? Are there any tips? So this is something that I have figured out kind of. And what I mean by kind of is there's no perfect answer to completely avoid the valleys of life. There's always going to be those dips and, times that are just a little more difficult. But what I have realized is that everything is a cycle. Everything in nature, including us. And so just like you're saying, you seem to notice this with your period, our cycles as women tend to have that effect on everything, on when we feel confident and outgoing and can do videos and networking in our business. And then other times where, we can't even seem to do one little task and we don't want to get out of bed. And then there's other times where we're super motivated, but more in a planning and analytical type way. So this all correlates to those cycles and can also correlate with the moon cycles, but it's different for everyone. I would just say look at the patterns. Everything is a pattern, and look for the pattern and kind of adjust your life around that. So when you're in those dips where things just seem hard, it's hard to work, it's hard to communicate, all you want to do is lay in bed, really tune in and pay attention. And first of all, I always tell myself, is this going to last forever? No. This happens every month, and I feel like it's so hopeless and it's going to be the way it is for the rest of my life, but it never is. A few days later, I will come out of that valley feeling better than ever. I'll tap back into my creativity, and it always gets better. And so I think there's this common misconception when people start to work on manifestation and self-development that they have to be positive all the time, and there's no room for being lazy or negative or whatever. But that's not realistic. As human beings, we're all going to have our highs and our lows. That's the law of polarity. And you wouldn't know about the highs, like things wouldn't feel really good if you never experienced bad. It's because you experience the lows in life that you're able to fully appreciate the highs in life. And so when you're in those valleys, like the very first thing is to have awareness and acknowledgement that this is just a small portion of time. You're in the lower part of the cycle and you're going to come out of it. And every time you come out of it, this is no different. And so instead of trying to fight it or worry about it, tune into what you need. And maybe what you need is to relax, is to take a nap, is to kind of avoid social situations, avoid doing things that require you to be really outgoing and communicate, and instead focus on self-love, nurturing yourself, doing the types of things that fill your cup. And then there's going to be another phase where you feel like a burst of creativity and you want to start planning projects and doing things that you really feel called to do. So tune into that and follow that. And maybe that's the time where you put your head down and you just like go all in on these creative projects that are coming through. And then there's going to be another time where you're peaking and you're very outgoing and you just want to be around people and you feel super confident. Maybe that's a great time to go out with friends, to network, to do video, to do interviews. That's when, you should really take advantage of those types of things that you normally don't have the energy to do. And then there's going to be a phase that's more about reflecting, analyzing, planning. When you're in that phase, like honor that, like know that, okay, maybe I don't want to make plans with friends. Maybe I want to just stay home and open up my computer or get out my notebook and kind of just journal or plan or, look at how this month has gone so far and plan what's next. So it's really about tuning into you, your cycle, your pattern, and recognizing that it's a pattern, it's a cycle, and that you're going to come out of it. And the best thing you can do when you're in those valleys, like I said, is take care of yourself. And this is when you want to use the tools that are going to help you get back into that positive vibration. So if you don't feel like doing anything, play a subliminal. Like you literally don't have to do anything other than hit play. Play a subliminal, take a nap. If you really feel like it, you can journal or go for a walk outside or something like that if you feel like it. But really tune into how you feel and give yourself permission to relax. And I feel like as women, we never give ourselves permission to slow down and relax and take care of us. And so we resist it. We resist this period of rest. And so it persists and it lasts a lot longer than if we would just take the damn nap and take care of ourselves. So really give yourself what you're needing, and you know what you're needing. You're probably just resisting it because you've got, family to take care of or your job or whatever. Try to find time to, even if you have to go out in your car on your lunch break and take a nap in your car. I literally used to do that when I was in my 9-to-5 job, and it made a really big difference. So just honor where you're at and know that this is not the time for the super high vibe, what am I going to manifest? This is time for you to go within and take care of whatever it is you need. And take things slow. Don't put a lot on your plate, and just know that you're going to come out of this. Okay, the next question is, my husband and I have a business and we're going through something that could either make it or break it. And I'm trying to be really positive and focus on, the positive outcome and manifesting and self-development. But my husband, every time I'm around him, looks very concerned, very stressed, and that energy rubs off on me. So how do I manage this? So this is reality, right? Like if you're working on yourself and you're growing and you're, into manifesting and you're trying to be more positive, that doesn't mean that the people in your life are going to do the same thing. And everyone has free will. So a lot of times we think, well, if I'm doing it, I can I can have them do that. I could change their mind. I could get them involved. But the truth is, like, if they don't want to, you're just going to get frustrated. And so you kind of have to lead by example. Like, let them see how you are being and let that inspire them to change rather than you trying to force it on them or convince them. The best way to convince anyone is to show them with your actions. And so, think about how everything is energy, and there's always going to be a dominant energy in the room. And that typically is from a negative source or a toxic source or an angry source, because that's very powerful energy. But what if you could set the intention that every time you walk in a room, you're the dominant energy and you're like this big glowing light, and you walk in a room and it just lights up the whole room and it lifts the burden off of people and it makes them smile. Like, you could literally set these intentions and be the one that affects the mood rather than someone else being the one that's affecting your mood. So you're kind of like putting up this shield of armor protecting your energy, but you're also giving your positive energy. Another thing is to just like literally leave the room. So if your husband's in a really negative frame of mind, there's no rule that says you have to stay there. Like, go in the other room. Find something else to do. And just removing yourself from that environment is going to, number one, protect your energy. But number two, it's going to send a very subtle cue that they're not allowed to treat you that way. And even though they might not consciously recognize it, they're going to learn that, okay, when I start acting that way, she goes away. And so I have to focus on more of the positive or change the subject, or she's not going to stick around in this room. She's going to go somewhere else. So you literally teach people how to treat you, how to be around you by what you tolerate. And being supportive does not mean that you have to be in a negative mindset and listen to them complain. Sometimes the most supportive thing you can do is get them out of it by being that positive energy or giving them space to process whatever it is they're going through. So keep in mind that you're the average of the people you spend the most time with. And typically, like I said, when you're going on your journey, that doesn't mean that your friends and your family and your coworkers are going to go on that journey with you. It doesn't mean you have to cut them out of your life, but you can look for people to offset that. So find someone or a group of people that are either on the same journey as you or are already achieving the things you want to achieve, and put yourself around them so you can start to balance out that energy, and so that you have this place where you know that you're going to be supported and you know is going to be a place that's going to lift you up instead of depleting you. So that could be finding someone, whether it's someone in your hometown or someone in a Facebook group, that's kind of like your support/accountability partner. Maybe you guys have a call every week, or maybe you text each other. You could also join a mastermind or coaching. You can also look for Facebook groups or people on Instagram that have memberships. This is why I tell people join the Manifest It Now app, because you get access to our inner tribe community. And that's a great place for networking with other people that are on this journey of growing and manifesting rather than bitching and complaining. So with technology, there's a million ways to find your tribe, your source of inspiration, and find people that have similar interests. And it's something you really need. Otherwise, you're going to get dragged down. You have to have someone in your life, even if it's just virtually, that can be there and support you and kind of give you that little bit of boost. And if you just stay on track and you start to change, people are going to see that. And that can be the inspiration that they need to start showing up that way in their life. But if you try to force it or push it, it's likely just going to push them away. So I know it's a very touchy subject. It's not an easy answer. But at the end of the day, you have control over your thoughts, and you have control over the way that you respond to your environment. And so if you start to get really intentional with how you think and how you feel and how you show up, and then you control your environment by physically removing yourself from the areas that are really negative, that is going to make a huge difference. And again, it's going to give those subtle cues to the people around you that you're not going to tolerate this negative behavior, and they're going to learn how to be around you. So I hope that that helps, and I'm sorry that you're going through a difficult time, but just know that, again, everything is a cycle. You're going to come out of this, and maybe you could be the light and the positive voice that your husband needs right now. And then the last question I have for today was someone downloaded the Manifest It Now app, and they are like, where do I even start? What do you suggest? There's so much content. I don't even know like where to go. So I always suggest that people start with the subliminals. And the reason for that is you don't have to do anything. In fact, the less you're consciously involved, the better. So if you just literally go to the subliminal library and just pick any subliminal and hit play while you're working or while you're doing, chores around the house or while you're sleeping, it's going to have a profound impact on your mood, on your thoughts, on your subconscious, on the way you feel. And that is a great place to start. And then once you're in that good frame of mind, just allow yourself to intuitively be guided to whatever it is you need. There are going to be days where you're like, you know what? I want to sit down and journal. I need some prompts. Okay, go do one of the workbooks that are in there. There's going to be other days where you like really want to just learn and absorb everything you can. Go listen to one of the gazillion workshops or master classes. There's going to be days where you want to meditate or do a hypnosis. So like just see how you feel, but start with the subliminals because it's such an easy way to get started because there's really nothing you have to do other than just listen in the background. And I think that out of anything in the app, it's the most potent, and it's also the easiest in terms of like you could make it work no matter how crazy your schedule is because all you have to do is press play. So start with that and then just allow yourself to be intuitively led to where you want to go next. If you try to take on too much at once, it ends up becoming a chore. And that doesn't feel good. And the whole purpose is you want to feel good. All of these tools in the app are meant to help you get in that high vibrational space. And so if you instead look at them as chores, it's going to lower your vibration. So don't put too much on your plate. Just like literally start with baby steps and only do what feels good to you and what's going to raise your vibration and give you energy instead of leaving you depleted. All right, so I hope that you guys liked this little Q&A episode, and you can always send questions to me on Instagram at Law of Attraction Tribe. If you want to join the boot camp and come hang out and meet some more positive people, again, it's September 7th and 8th. I will post the replays for anyone that can't make it live, but it's in the link in the show notes. It's in the bio on Instagram at Law of Attraction Tribe, and I hope to see some of you there so we can hang out. All right, thanks for tuning in. I'll see you back here next time. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you guys want more in between these podcast episodes, you can subscribe to my Apple podcast, Manifested It. You can find that in Apple Podcasts, and it has all of my bonus interviews, guided visualizations, subliminals, meditations, all that good stuff. Or you can download the Manifest It Now app where I put everything, all of my interviews, tools, everything I've used to manifest a life I don't need a vacation from. You can find that wherever you get your apps in Google Play or the Apple App Store. And you can join the Inner Tribe Manifesting community, which is inside the app as well. If you want to up level with a group of women who are there to support you, cheer you on, give you guidance, and up level your vibe. And if you love this episode, the best thing you can do to support the podcast is share it. Share it with a friend, share it on your Instagram. Make sure to tag me at Law of Attraction Tribe so I can share it back on my story as well. I love connecting with you guys and putting a face to all the listeners out there. So come connect with me over on Instagram and let's start a conversation. Have a great week, and I'll see you back here next time.